We're counting down the 10 cars that absolutely no one wants to buy anymore. And if you own one, you need to pay attention. From luxury models quietly crippled by tech failures to mass market sedans losing thousands overnight, every entry on this list is a fast track to financial pain in today's brutal used car market. We'll reveal cars haunted by catastrophic electronics, doomed by unfixable drivetrain flaws, and even some so notorious that insurers or mechanics won't touch them. What makes these the hardest cars to sell, and which model is the riskiest of all? Let's break down the ranking, starting with number 10. In the 10th place, the Cadillac CU infotainment system represents a silent financial trap for owners in today's used car market. Early versions of this luxury touchscreen found in models like the ATS, XTS, and SRX routinely fail without warning. When the CU screen goes dark, it's more than just losing navigation or music. Climate control, backup cameras, and even basic vehicle settings become inaccessible, turning a modern Cadillac into a high-tech brick. Replacement costs quickly spiral. A dealer repair typically runs between $1,800 and $3,500, often matching or exceeding the car's trade-in value. And independent shops may offer used or remanufactured modules, but wait times stretch for weeks, and there's no guarantee the fix will last. Auction data shows CUE-equipped Cadillacs have a 30% higher no-sell rate compared to similar luxury sedans, as buyers and dealers alike steer clear of the risk. The reality is simple. A dead infotainment system wipes out resale value overnight, and the repair bill is a four-figure punch that rarely pays off. In a market where every dollar counts, holding on to a CU Cadillac is like owning a car with a broken brain. Best to sell before the next blackout hits. Number 9, the Ford Focus and Fiesta, equipped with the PowerShift dual-clutch transmission, represent a financial trap that has burned countless owners. These transmissions, rushed to market starting with the 2011 model year, were plagued from the outset by shuddering, slipping, and abrupt failure, symptoms that often appeared just after the warranty expired. Internal documents from class action lawsuits confirm that Ford's own engineers warned of design flaws, but the car still hit showrooms. When the PowerShift unit fails, it's not a simple repair. A full replacement typically costs between $3,000 and $6,000, which can easily exceed the entire value of a used Focus or Fiesta. Auction data reveals these cars are blacklisted by many dealers, with up to 40% failing to sell on their first run. Wholesale buyers routinely skip past PowerShift VYNs, knowing the risk of a comeback car is too great. For current owners, the math is brutal. The transmission failure turns a running car into a total loss equation overnight. In today's market, holding onto a PowerShift Ford is like betting against the house. The odds are stacked, and the losses are real. 8th place, the first-generation Nissan Leaf stands as a cautionary tale for anyone considering an early electric vehicle. These models, sold between 2011 and 2017, relied on passive air-cooled battery packs that degrade quickly, especially in hot climates like Phoenix or Las Vegas. Owners have watched their usable range plummet from nearly 100 miles when new to less than 40 miles after just a few years of summer heat. The financial reality is harsh. A replacement battery pack from a Nissan dealer routinely costs between $10,000 and $15,000, more than the car is typically worth on the private market. Even used or refurbished packs, if you can find one, often offer little improvement and come with no guarantees. Prospective buyers now show up to test drives with diagnostic apps like LeafSpy, checking the state of health before making any offer, and most walk away if the battery is below 70%. Auction data confirms these Leafs are among the slowest sellers in the used electric vehicle segment, with no sell rates topping 50%. For current owners, holding on to a first-gen Leaf is like watching a melting ice cube. The longer you wait, the smaller your return. The battery is the car's heart, and when it fails, the repair bill instantly outweighs any remaining value. Number 7, the BMW N24-cylinder engine hides a mechanical time bomb that has quietly devastated owners' wallets. Found in models like the X3, 328i, and 528i from the early 2010s, this engine is notorious for timing chain guide failures, a flaw that rarely announces itself until it's too late. The issue begins with subtle oil consumption, often dismissed as normal wear, but over time, worn plastic guides allow the timing chain to slacken and eventually jump, leading to catastrophic engine damage. And independent shops routinely quote between $4,500 and $8,000 for a full repair or replacement, with labor stretching from 15 to 22 hours. For many owners, the car's value barely justifies the fix, especially after 90,000 miles when failures spike. Even after a documented repair, resale values remain depressed, as the reputation lingers in online listings and auction lanes. Recall bulletins and class action lawsuits have done little to restore confidence. The stigma is now baked into the market. Auction data shows a persistent discount, with buyers wary of inheriting a silent killer that could wipe out thousands in a single day. For anyone holding a BMW with the N20 engine, the numbers are clear. The next breakdown isn't just inconvenient, it's a financial knockout, and waiting only makes the math worse. Number 6, the Chevrolet Malibu and Chrysler 200 have become the poster children for market oversaturation in the used car world. These mid-size sedans were produced in massive volumes for rental fleets and corporate sales throughout the late 2000s and early 2010s, flooding dealer lots and auctions with near-identical models. The result is a relentless supply glut. Auction data from Manheim shows a supply-to-demand ratio of 5-to-1, with units routinely wholesaling $2,000 to $4,000 below their listed private party values. Dealers have even coined nicknames like Malibu Money Pit and Fleet Ghost to describe the financial pain of moving these cars. And in the past 12 months alone, average resale values for ex-rental Malibus and 200s have dropped by $3,200, a loss that hits owners whether or not the car has any mechanical issues. Inventory simply sits, with days to turn metrics often doubling the industry average. For sellers, the reality is harsh. Even a well-maintained example blends into a sea of identical cars, leaving no leverage for negotiation. The financial hit is all but guaranteed. Owners face a 4-figure loss the moment these cars hit the open market, regardless of mileage or condition. In today's market, holding onto a Malibu or 200 is a waiting game where the only certainty is a shrinking return. Number 5, the early 2000s Toyota Tundra hides a problem that no detailing or quick fix can disguise: severe frame rot that turns a reliable truck into a total loss overnight. The issue isn't surface rust or a bit of bubbling under the paint. It's deep structural corrosion that eats away at the frame itself, often hidden behind plastic covers or out of sight until it's too late. And in 2009, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opened a safety investigation after reports of frame perforation and even frame breakage during normal driving. Toyota responded by launching a massive recall and ultimately spent over $100 million on buybacks and repairs, but the damage to the Tundra's reputation was already done. For owners, the financial reality is harsh. A frame replacement at the dealer can run between $7,000 and $13,000, while the truck itself might be worth only $10,000 on a good day. And inspection failures are common, especially in northern states where road salt accelerates corrosion. Trucks that pass a magnet test or visual inspection one year can be condemned the next, leaving owners with nothing but scrap value. Auction data shows Rust Belt Tundras losing up to half their value the moment frame damage is discovered. Safety is the final nail. A compromised frame means the truck is no longer roadworthy, and no reputable buyer will take the risk. For anyone holding on to an early Tundra, the message is clear. Structural rust isn't just a maintenance headache, it's a financial and safety disaster waiting to happen. Number 4, the Mini Cooper S from the 2010s stands as a warning to anyone tempted by the promise of affordable turbocharged fun. Beneath the quirky styling and compact footprint, the Prince Turbo engines, especially the N14 and N18, are infamous for self-destructing when maintenance slips even a little. The most common scenario starts with a clogged oil feed line, starving the turbo of lubrication. When that turbo seizes, metal shavings are sent straight into the engine, turning a minor repair into a catastrophic failure. Independent shops routinely see repair bills between $2,500 and $4,000 just for the turbo, but if the engine is contaminated, replacement costs jump to $7,000 or more, often eclipsing the car's resale value. Dealer invoices and shop blogs are filled with stories of owners scrapping their Minis after a second turbo failure, unable to justify another round of repairs. The used market has caught on. Cars with even a hint of turbo trouble are avoided by both dealers and private buyers, and auction data shows these models are among the slowest movers in their segment. For anyone still holding a 2010s Mini Cooper S, the risk is clear. One missed oil change or delayed turbo line upgrade can turn a running car into a financial write-off overnight. Coming to the top 3, Saab and Saturn represent the forgotten brand graveyard in today's used car market. When an automaker folds, the consequences reach far beyond lost badge pride. Owners are left stranded with cars no mechanic wants to touch, and even simple repairs become a logistical nightmare. For most Saabs, a running example now trades hands for less than $2,000, not because of catastrophic engine failure, but because a single failed sensor or module can be back-ordered for months. if it's available at all. Mechanics routinely charge a $200 diagnostic fee just to look at these cars, and many shops openly admit to adding a 30% premium or refusing the job entirely because of parts headaches. A common repair like a throttle body or ignition module can run $1,500 to $3,000 once you factor in parts hunting, shipping, and labor, often exceeding the car's total market value. The situation with Saturn is no better. As a brand that disappeared over a decade ago, even basic components like window regulators or control arms can spark a fruitless search through salvage yards and online forums. Owners report waiting months for a single airbag sensor while their cars sit undrivable and uninsured in the driveway. The market has taken notice. Dealers avoid trade-ins from these orphan brands, and auction data shows conversion rates for Saabs and Saturns are among the lowest in the industry. In a market where supply chains rule, the death of a brand turns even a healthy car into a paperweight, and every passing year only makes the risk worse. Number 2, pre-2022 Kia and Hyundai models had become the face of an insurance nightmare that no owner saw coming. The story begins with a missing piece. These vehicles, built without basic engine immobilizers, became targets for a viral theft wave that swept across the country. In cities like Chicago, Kia and Hyundai thefts jumped from just over 200 in 2021 to more than 8,000 in the next year, accounting for nearly 60% of all stolen cars. And the method is shockingly simple. A USB cable, a few minutes, and the car is gone. This vulnerability, exposed by social media, triggered a reaction from the insurance industry that has crippled owners financially. Major insurers like State Farm and Progressive responded by raising premiums by as much as 200 or 300% in high-risk zip codes, with some owners reporting monthly bills that now exceed $180, more than double the national average. And in the hardest-hit neighborhoods, insurers have quietly stopped writing new policies altogether, leaving owners with no legal way to drive or sell their vehicles. Even those who manage to keep coverage face non-renewal notices or are forced onto high-risk plans with sky-high deductibles. The used market has responded in kind. Dealers refuse trade-ins, and private buyers walk away the moment they hear the model year. For many, the car still runs perfectly, but it's become uninsurable. Ownership is now impossible, not because of a mechanical defect, but because the financial system has closed its doors. The message is clear. As long as your car can be stolen with a USB cord, the real threat isn't under the hood. It's in your mailbox in the form of a premium hike or a policy cancellation. Sell before the next renewal, or risk holding a car that no one, not even an insurer, wants to touch. And finally, in first place, the early Porsche Boxster and Cayman, specifically the 986 and 987 generations, stand as the ultimate warning for anyone clinging to dreams of affordable sports car ownership. Beneath the promise of German engineering and mid-engine balance lies a maintenance regime that can break even the most disciplined wallet. Routine service jobs that are a weekend project on most cars, like clutch or rear main seal replacement, become a full-blown ordeal here, requiring the entire engine and transmission to be pulled from the chassis. Porsche specialist shops quote 18 to 24 hours of labor for these jobs, and the final bill for a clutch IMS bearing and RMS service package routinely lands between $4,000 and $6,000. Attempting to split up these repairs only doubles the pain, as each job requires the same engine out procedure. Even the basics carry a premium. A simple oil change can exceed $500 thanks to the need for specialty oil, multiple filters, and extensive underbody disassembly. Spark plug service often requires partial engine lowering, adding another $600 to $900 to the tally. And for owners, the financial reality is relentless. Depreciation curves for the 986 and 987 models show sharp drops as these major service intervals approach. A Boxster or Cayman with no documentation of recent engine-out maintenance can lose up to 25% of its market value overnight as buyers factor in the looming $4,000 to $8,000 repair bill. Clean, recently serviced examples command a premium, but neglected cars languish on the market for months, with few buyers willing to risk a surprise five-figure expense. Mainstream dealers and independent lots routinely refuse trade-ins without a folder of specialist receipts, knowing the next owner will be facing the same financial gauntlet. In owner forums, the refrain is constant. You don't buy the car, you buy the next $5,000 bill. This isn't a one-time hit. It's a cycle that repeats every 60,000 to 90,000 miles. And for anyone holding on to an early Boxster or Cayman, the message is clear. The maintenance monster doesn't sleep. and every mile brings you closer to another four-figure invoice. In today's market, where buyers are savvier and service costs are rising, selling before the next engine out job is due may be the only way to escape the financial undertow these cars create. From the silent tech failures of the Cadillac CU system to the financial sinkhole of the early Porsche Boxster and Cayman, our countdown of 10 cars that no one buys anymore shows just how ruthless today's used car market has become. Across all entries, a clear pattern emerges: catastrophic repair bills, whether from failing infotainment, infamous CVT transmissions, unfixable electric vehicle batteries, or even routine maintenance that requires engine removal, instantly wipe out resale value. The list also exposes how overproduction, brand extinction, and insurance nightmares can turn even a running car into financial dead weight. The most shocking entries, like orphan Saabs with no part support or pre-2022 Kias that insurers now blacklist, prove it's not just mechanical issues, but market forces and legal hurdles that kill demand. And in every case, these cars qualify because ownership costs or risks now exceed what buyers will accept. And the real takeaway in 2024's market, a car's true value isn't just how it drives, but how hard it is to escape when things go wrong. Sell smart, sell early, and stay ahead of the next wave of automotive deadweight.